had more success on our left side.
Yeah.
So look for it to go to the field side here, guys.
The last possession ended in a 45-yard touchdown run down the left sideline for the junior running back, now playing quarterback out of the Wildcat formation for the Brandon Bulldogs, Tyson Robinson. He is as good as advertised, Jeff. And now it's 3rd down and 9 from the Brandon 39-yard line.
I guess we can say this a couple of times, a couple of different plays, but from the Greyhounds' perspective, really in the
Let me know, we're counting down this game right here. You see it. Brandon with the ball, not much time left. Can you hear the announcers? Can y'all tell me if you can hear the announcers on there, Jeff Shep?
15 seconds on the play clock.
It's a big one. 2:38 on the game clock, guys.
2:38 left in the game. 3rd down and 9 for Brandon.
He's going to keep it on the left side. He cuts back up. He's still on his feet. He's getting to the outside. He's still running, and he slides down at the 41-yard line. Tyson Robinson picks up the 1st down for the Brandon Bulldogs.
So no players down.
Can y'all hear the announcers on for this game?
On the far side of the field.
Brandon got the 1st down.
To by the Brandon coaches.
And guys, what that is, they run the ball to the tight end side. They pull the guard from this side around, go in the hole before the running back.
So we do have finals that are coming in. Not yet. Not all the finals. Pascagoula will win. They're still playing. Picayune did win.
Lucas is coming off holding his shoulder, guys.
And
Lucas has had a phenomenal.
unless some kind of miracle happens for Ocean Springs, they're going to be on the low side of the score. Gulfport did win 45-7.
We'll get the ball back.
20 seconds to go on the play clock. 2:05 to go.
2:05 left to go in the game. I don't know if you can hear the announcers. Can somebody post in there? Can y'all hear the announcers? They don't have a 2-minute warning in high school football. It's 1st down.
Guys, it's almost take the snap.
It will be a handoff up the middle. Hounds need to try to force some kind of turnover. They don't.
I mean,
Set the play clock. They'll be able to snap the football with about a minute to go.
Hancock won at West Jones.
2nd down and 4.
That was nice.
2nd down and 6, excuse me.
Guys, we didn't have but one turnover tonight, but unfortunately it was costly.
So they did have the turnover there, and
They
it,
had two, the interception. They still got the ball. It was just towards the end of the half and
Aiden Watson needs to stand up. He's sitting down. The game is not over yet. They're going to take a knee. For the Bulldogs.
yes,
Aiden Jones comes rushing in.
So we're guys.
Well, guys, we can't stop the clock.
Can't stop it.
Yeah, we can't stop the clock.
That is, you hate to say it, but time still left on the clock. But the way the time shapes up and the play clock and the game clock, it is the unfortunate reality is starting to sink in on both sidelines, as you can tell by the fans and the way the players are reacting. This game is everything but over, barring a miracle.
so it looks like Ocean Springs will lose to Brandon for the 7th straight time. That's it.
And we couldn't stop them.
Man,
Guys, this is the 3rd time in 4 years that Brandon has ended the Ocean Springs season on this field.
Man, that's just
The final score, Bulldogs 13, Greyhounds 10.
that's the final.
that is a heartbreaker.
Post-game show brought to you by
I don't know if you can hear the announcers. I'm letting you listen to the announcers. I'm trying to get final scores. Let me know.
The law firm of Board East Andos Pierce is prepared to assist in a wide range of matters.
Biloxi did lose 52-0.
And more. With nearly 8 decades of combined legal experience, Board East Andos Pierce is the small firm that delivers big results. Visit their website at bdpgolfcoast.com.
5220. Why did I say 52? Nothing. 5220 Oak Grove.
You noticed there was not a line.
Yeah, to shake hands.
I think that was probably best by both coaching staff because
We're still waiting for. D'Iberville is there. Does anybody have a D'Iberville?
Entire time.
You hate that it gets to a point like that, but that's probably a good decision on their part because the team came down and was talking.
Well, I think it was Brandon decided it, Coach. Look how they're acting down there. And there's one thing to celebrate a win, and it's another. See, the coaches have no control over.
Yeah, they're trying to come over to our band, And look, Brother Sam, I've been coaching and participating and watching enough sports, not just football.
We're gonna switch over.
Comes up
Well, let me unmute this.
number 33 for Pascagoula on that tackle, Jaden Davis.
He gets out of bounds, stops
Oh,
the clock with
well.
28 points.
A game, a softball game, a basketball game, a football game. This is absolutely 100%.
For Pascagoula.
Other than the result,
And
it's
now-
sad that this is what we're having to talk about, but that's what you would expect when you play a team that starts with a B and ends with an N and comes from about 3 hours up north.
Yeah,
It's,
Coach, and we're having to hold back some of our.
You don't like the.
I guess that's some of our coaches from other sports or something.
No, the entire team tried to come over to our band.
Yeah.
What is that? That is on the coach.
Again, I don't know if you can hear the announcers or not.
Because the players do what they're allowed to do, Brother Sam. They
Well,
do what
and
they're
now we
allowed
got
to do.
police telling them.
They were saying that the players, Brandon players, are trying to come over to the band. Ocean Springs band. We're gonna switch over. We're gonna switch over.
How many points have we given up in the last? Our starting defense gave up.
There you go. You just catching that
Yeah.
So-
in game there. I don't know if you can hear them.
He's looking at defense giving up 10 points in how many games?
41
So,
to 7.
Hey, definitely can't hang your hat on it. You got to come ready to play. We are going to be in Hattiesburg next week, so make the trip. Come out, support your Panthers. But for now, I've got Miss Sheets in Dallas on camera. My color guy, Frank Corner. I'm Harold Tillman. We'll see you next week.
Eldridge with another kick.
So they just went off the air there as Hattiesburg wins 41. Goose Pascagoula wins 41-7. It will go to Hattiesburg.
Foul penalties. At the half, it was Brandon 6, Ocean Springs 3. Evan Ta's 52-yard field goal in the third quarter comes up short, but Sherrod Whitehead scores from 29 yards out to make it.
And I'm
10-6.
seeing Poplarville did win.
9 to go.
So normally I don't come on
That's what the score was at the end of 3.
this early,
Forced a turnover
but
on
it's
downs
playoff
on
time.
52-yard
Win
line.
or go
Really
home.
couldn't do much of
Cash
anything
Christian took
else.
care of
Rest
business
of the
there.
perspective. They punted. Yeah, you got called.
I got Coach Bramlett.
I'm
here.
sorry.
Coach,
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah, you
Coach
got-
Bramlett.
Yeah, Coach, not the way you wanted to end the playoffs.
No, I mean, not the way we wanted it at all, but you can't make that many mistakes when you get to this point of the season. We made too many of them tonight. And every phase of the game, we just made too many mistakes to win a ball game like that. Hats off to Brandon. They're a good football team and did what they had to do to win the game.
Okay, I know it's disappointing, but I know how close you are to this group of seniors. Being these guys stayed here and was here the whole time as you took over as the new head coach.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first group to see all the way through, and this isn't how we wanted it to end. We wanted it to end the right way, and this wasn't our goal. But they've done so much for this program and laying a foundation for this program and everything that goes on in that field house, and they'll be dearly missed. But yeah, I don't have enough time to talk about those guys for as long as I want to because they're a great group. I love every single one of them, and they're gonna have some great futures ahead of them, whether it be in football or anything else.
All right, Coach, congratulations on a good year. I know this is not the way we wanted to go out, but start for next year, next week.
Ready for next year.
Thank you, Coach, for all your patience and time. All right, guys, very dejected group down here as expected. I think Coach summed it up pretty good. You can't, in the playoffs, you have to play just about near perfect football.
Yeah.
In order to beat.
I don't know if you guys can hear the announcers. I mean, I'm not talking. I'm assuming you can hear the Ocean Springs announcers. If you guys would I'm just coming up for some final scores. That's why I don't normally come on this early, but it was coming to the end of the game, and I wanted to show you Ocean Springs if they can make the comeback. Unfortunately, they did not, and give it to Brandon. They did it.
That was a big part of the game. You know, and I hate to be that guy, and I'm not going to say we lost this game because of officiating. I'm not. I said at the pregame show that usually the team that makes the fewest mistakes puts themselves in the best position to win the game.
So at that score, what about Petal and D'Iberville? That was a very close game, and
And it's the what ifs that revolve around the kids that didn't play the game. Unfortunately, it's the Zebras tonight. They make the ejection call, the targeting 2 minutes into the game, the potential where the quarterback, who was the running back at the time, throws the ball, doesn't get to the line of scrimmage. Is there a receiver near the field? This play right here at the end, the interception where Chalmers was trying to throw the ball to Hayden, and Hayden got depleted before the ball even got to him. You know,
well, we're going to be efforting some.
There's a hold, there's not a hold. Hey, false start.
That's all the live streams that I have. There's no live stream game going on. Trying to get the final scores. Trying to get the D'Iberville Petal final score. I know Pearl River Central was getting beat at Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg did win. I tell you, that's right, because Pascagoula will go to Hattiesburg. I just don't know what the final score is of the PRC game.
That is true, but I just want to remind us, we're driving with about 3 minutes left, and we turned the ball over.
That's it.
We had the ball in our possession, and just needed to execute.
What other final? I thought there was another game I needed a final on, or was that it? Poplarville went final, passes final, golf. I think that's the only game is the Petal, the D'Iberville game.
We turned the ball over more than they did. But again, it does go back to where you want the game to be decided on the field by the kids that have the helmets on playing the game, and you don't want any. You don't want to ever have a chance to say, yeah, but and I do feel like there's going to be a lot of people that are leaving the stadium tonight.
That's not us.
Yeah, it's not us.
That's not in the stadium. So
yeah.
So I think you just got a purse.
Yeah. But
So I'm waiting for D'Iberville and Hattiesburg.
Pretty much across the board, most sports. And man, it's
Look, man.
Would you say three out of
the last 4 years they've ended the season here. Look, man. I'm just gonna say it. Tyson Robinson made a play when it was time to do it. He held on to the football and he ran for a 45-yard touchdown run, and we had an opportunity. I get it. It sucked. I thought the game was unbelievably horribly officiated, but it sucked both ways. To Sam's point, it just came down to it. We had an opportunity, we didn't do it. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
It's unfortunate, and the fumble at the
And
end is what people.
Pascagoula will go to Columbia.
There were opportunities throughout the game.
They are on a roll. Both teams are on a roll. Columbia is undefeated.
The crazy thing is, with a minute left in the third quarter, I'm like, this game's as close to being on ice in our favor as it could be. We came out and were lights out. 2 incredible defensive plays, drive the ball down, get the touchdown.
If you have any questions, let me know. Actually, I was just trying to.
Without saying it, putting that bad JoJo on it, I thought we were well on our way. And then to be sitting here having this conversation that we're having.
Hard to hear over the music in the background. Okay.
It's tough. And I don't remember what point in time in the game I said it, but that's why championship.
But can you hear, Vaughn? Can you hear
because it's so
what they're saying?
Yep.
It's so hard. Think about every school in the state of Mississippi that didn't have the opportunity to even make it to the playoffs. Well, half of them are done tonight.
Right.
It's just tough. And then you throw in the fact that we're dealing with kids, and for some of these kids, this is the last time they'll ever get to play for their school, for their coach, in front of their parents, for their community. And it's a heartbreaker, man. And so hats off to them. Guys, on a positive note, I do want to say, and I know it's not the way you want the season to end, but the culture of Ocean Springs football has been changed. And although it did not go our way tonight, we are a threat and a force to be reckoned with. And eventually, when, I don't know yet, but eventually we are going to get over that hump. We are going to come over that mental hurdle, that mental obstacle. And once we do, know, I just the program is headed in the right direction. You can't put a synopsis of the season.
No, I mean,
on
look,
one game.
we talked to Coach Daigle at halftime about the volleyball championship. How close were they for so many years?
You know,
How many times have you been that close, Jeff?
Yeah,
And how many have you cashed in?
I
Two?
played in 7 and won 2.
And you won 2.
We were a minute away from going to my 8th last year.
You know what I mean?
You know,
So it's hard. I mean,
it is.
that's why I like having you in the booth with me, because you give us this perspective that we don't always get. You take us into the locker room. And
Yeah.
so, Sam, look, I want to bring it down to you. I mean, your thoughts. I could see Chop walking by you. I can't imagine he's not. I would assume he's probably crying. So
Yeah, he's not a happy young man,
no.
although he's going to go somewhere and play on
yeah,
Saturday.
he is. And he's going to wear this. I mean, look, he had the football and he's the one that fumbled. But I mean, like I said, I'm not putting it on one player. I'm just not going to do that.
Well,
Look,
Jeff,
hey.
we were trying to do exactly what Brandon did. They put the ball in their best player's hands.
That's it.
Our best 2 players were number 2,
Two,
Choppa,
and number 13. That's
Solo.
it.
So you put them back there, and you let them, and we were driving, remember, fumble at the 48 of Brandon. So
But hey-
we're moving the football.
And we're harping on the negative side of that. The drive before that, those same 2 players in the backfield is what got us the first touchdown of the game. You know, so
Yeah.
I mean, it works. It's just the football gods. You know, if you know, a lot of times when your coaches just say that.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily stepping on your toes in that regard, Brother Sam.
Yeah,
But
they
us
have a one
coaches,
God.
yeah. But us coaches do say that.
Yeah.
You know, in that regard, the football gods we're not on our side today, and the ball just didn't break our way. And you know, at the end of the day, hats off to Brandon. They did what they needed to do to win. You don't like to see the way or the manner in which they conducted themselves, but as far as doing what they needed to do on the field to win, they did enough.
Yeah. All right, Sam, I want to toss it down to you. The Hounds are good. Look, I'm going to say this, and to Jeff's point from earlier about the complete culture shift that's happened at this football program. The Hounds finished 9-2. And it's not good enough.
Yeah.
It sucks, but that's where we are now.
Yeah.
And I'm telling y'all, this is my 14th year doing this. It didn't used to be like this.
No.
Oh, no. When
It
I-
didn't. It
No.
didn't used to be
No.
like this.
You would have a senior class that would be lucky to win 9 games.
Well, again,
while
I
they were
say
in
this
high
all the
school.
time. My wife, they won 4 games in the 4 years she was in high school.
Oh, thank you, Brandon.
Now,
I'm glad
2
you're
years
able
ago,
to.
they were in the state
I'm just trying to
championship. It
get
wasn't
these
the
last
same.
2 final
This
scores
is
and then
for
have
the
some
last
inviting
6
some
years.
coaches.
So
And we'll have our sponsor guests come on.
1,000,000%. It's everything. Yeah.
And a good AD and good administration that's behind everything that we're doing. We'll be back next year, and we'll rebound from this. As Coach Mangum used to say, the sun will come up in the morning.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to go forward. Hey, Jeff, Shep, I really enjoyed working with you guys this year.
I'm just trying to get a
job, and you do a good job calling the game, and we have a lot of fun.
the Iberville score.
This way, I was looking forward to going to
Of course,
Starkville,
Pascagoula will go to Hattiesburg.
spending some time
and
there, but it was
Hancock
tremendous.
will go to Picayune in 6A.
We'll give it a lick next year and see where we can go.
Laurel will
Hey,
come
I
to
took a
Stone.
minute to wish my son good luck tomorrow. They finish their season on the road, 1:00 game. So I'm really pulling for.
And
young
Gulfport,
guys.
Petal will go to
He's
Gulfport.
trying to do-
Or
he's
this,
trying to build a culture, Shep, just like we've got
if
here
they
at
were
the
saying
program.
Petal's going to Gulfport,
And
then
they're taking some of
Petal
this
beat
in, but
the
hopefully
Iberville, which
tomorrow
I
we can pull out a victory.
don't have a final score on that.
Win column before the end of the year. Also,
But I've
we've
been
got
busy
Coach
doing
George
some other
Jones
stuff.
at Woodhaven Baptist Church. We have 2 services at 9 and 10:30. This is what we call a shameless plug, but hey, I do this for free, so I got to get my money somewhere. Amen.
Hey, amen. I got to get a shameless plug also real quick.
Yeah, Jeff, y'all have.
We've got the good guys from New Orleans coming over tomorrow, Jesuit.
Oh, come
play-
on.
to play.
Those people.
I mean, good guys to us. To Brother Martin, they're not good guys.
That's right.
But we've got an amazing soccer game tomorrow.
All right. Well, all right, we're going to have our sponsor, Miles, join us here as the first guest till we get some coaches in here. But yeah, answering the question there about Parker. Brandon did win. They did beat Ocean Springs. Miles, how you doing tonight?
All well over here. Just got done watching the Hancock game.
Yes, that was a great win for Hancock, and of course, you're our exclusive sponsor for the Tuesday Top 10 and the game predictions there at Park 10 Lanes in Diamond Head. I mean, if people haven't been to Diamond Head Bowling Alley, because you took over the bowling alley, what now? It's been over a year.
Yeah,
correct?
It's been almost 2 years now. It was March of 24, so we're a year and 9 months, year and 8 months.
And so, I mean, a lot. Of course, I bowled there for 20 years. I mean, you've done a lot of improvement there. The video games that you added, the games for the kids, the bowling. You have specials every week, lunch specials. And certainly thank you for sponsoring, the Tuesday Top 10 and the game predictions. I had my best year. I haven't posted overall stats, but the best year as far as game predictions there. So certainly appreciate Park 10 Lanes sponsoring. And again, I share your post and invite everybody to go out there. And if they see you, go up to Miles. You see what he looks like now, and tell him to buy you a drink. He might buy you a drink there. Tell him that Coast Football sent you. But certainly appreciate it, Miles. But again, you said that you were. I didn't get to watch that game, and we're going to try to effort somebody from Hancock. I know they're on the way back home, especially Happy at West Jones. So what did you see there? I mean, with K3, Case and Kanan, what did you see in that game? Several turnovers.
West Jones came out the gate and scored, I believe on the first drive of the game, first or second drive early on in the game, scored. And then it was 7-0 for most of the first half. Hancock tied it up in the second quarter, go to halftime, tied up, come back out. Third quarter, stayed tied. And with maybe 8.5 minutes in the fourth, Hancock scored 14-7. In the next minute and a half of that football game, you had 2 more touchdowns. So in a span of a minute and 40 seconds, you had 3 touchdowns. Suddenly it was 21-14 Hancock. And then as West Jones was driving to tie the game up with 4.5 minutes left, Hancock got an interception. And then they were able to run the ball and run the clock out from there. So it was a wild few minutes there in the game. For a game that was, I don't want to say boring, but just low scoring and nothing crazy happening. And then suddenly in a 2 to 3 minute stretch, you have 3 touchdowns scored. It was pretty wild in the fourth quarter there.
Yeah, I was getting updates, and let me see if I can get the gentleman's name that was giving me updates. That, like you say, there was 7-7 at halftime. So yes, it was certainly. In fact, I think I had 2 play. Joe Mullix, Mulinax on X, and then GMO 4982, who was giving me the updates there. It says he's a LSU Southern Miss fan. But yes, it was 7-7 at halftime. Now he didn't give the score. I mean, how they scored, but do you know who scored per se? As far as, was it K3, the quarterback, Case and Kanan, or
I don't. I know the one we scored to take the lead. We ran up the middle. And I don't recall if it was Kaysen or not. We have a band in the bar tonight, so there's about 150 people in there. So I'll trying to watch the game, also worrying about business at the same time. The back-to-back touchdowns, one by Hancock, one by West Jones, those were, I believe, both passing touchdowns, both long passing touchdowns. So, I mean, obviously K3 threw the ball. So.
Yes, he must have, because like I said, he's had a remarkable year. And like I say, I don't usually predict the playoffs just because I like to sit back and enjoy. I want all the coast teams win. Plus, a little bit difficult trying to get these non-coast teams on how they are. They don't send me an injury report. So not saying there was injuries involved, but West Jones, I just go by 8-3. They were 4-1 on the year, and that's why I had Hawks losing 39-19. Their offense does not travel. I mean, I'm not making stats up. The Hawks offense does not travel well on the road. So, it was all a combination. And believe me, I'm glad that they did certainly win there.
For about a minute and a half tonight, their offense traveled really well. That, surprisingly enough, their defense actually played incredibly well. I was impressed with how their defense played tonight.
Well, very good, very good. And I was to say, they do go to Picayune in a rematch, as Picayune handled George County tonight, so they will go back to Picayune where they lost 59-28.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one. Picayune's always good.
Oh yeah, yes, indeed. So like I say, I assume that you may have it again, like, because Picayune does live stream their games. Talking Ball, y'all does
Oh
live.
yeah, well, we try to stream. We try to find a stream for every Hancock game. Sometimes we can find one, sometimes we can't. Tonight, we were told there was a stream going on, and so we looked it up, and sure enough, found it, put it on, and it actually was pretty clear. It worked out pretty well. So, but ironically, next week they play Picayune. That's a tough one for me because while I am closer to Hancock and Hancock's bowling team does bowl here, Picayune isn't the same county as Hancock, and I am the bowling center of Hancock County. So,
Yes, Hancock, their bowling team has won several state championships.
oh yeah, I think we have 7 banners hanging up in there from the last 11 or 12 years. So,
yes, certainly. So yeah, you should have it. Like I say, the fans there certainly appreciate you sponsoring again. Hopefully we may get you to sponsor the live stream here, or even, I don't know if I'm going to do picks next week. I got to see how I did. Even though I did win more than lose, I did lose to Hancock, but the other games looks like I might have won them, but I haven't finished yet because I'm still waiting for the Iberville, and unfortunately, I think they did lose.
How did Ocean Springs do?
Ocean Springs ended up losing
Wow.
10-6. There at the end, they had the ball with about 3 minutes left in the game, driving, and just happened to put it on the ground, and that was it. Turned it over. So
What about
unfortunately,
Poplarville?
that's Poplarville won. Poplarville
Okay.
did win. Let me see. I was trying to get this other. Let me see.
Ocean
We got
Springs and Picayune. That's been your top 2 teams most of the year, huh?
yes. That has been the top 2 teams. Gulfport, had beat Ocean Springs, and then Picayune is up there. Pass Christian, got the win tonight, so they will host now. I mean, they will go to Columbia, the undefeated Columbia team.
Pastor Shan, is that doesn't Streak's son quarterback Pastor Shan?
It's Paris Trivell.
Parrish, yeah.
Paris, yes.
Yeah, actually, I ironically met him at one of our fantasy drafts up here at the bowling alley. His dad rents out the room over here for the whole day, and they do 4 or 5 fantasy drafts all day long. So,
okay. Well, I'm gonna bring on another guest here, and we're gonna keep on trucking there. But I appreciate it, Miles. Again, if the fans go up there to Park 10 Lane and said, "Hey, I saw you on Coast Football," I'm sure you can give them a little something.
Oh
but
yeah,
I'll
take care of them.
Look forward to having you on in the future and sponsoring more stuff. So I certainly appreciate it. It goes a long way.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Y'all have a nice night.
All right, Miles. Thank you. All right, we're going to put on Aaron Underwood. He's from Hancock. As I'm trying to get we're going to keep on rolling here. Aaron, you were at the game, or you watched it, or either way?
What do you mean was I at the game? I'm the voice of the Hawks, man.
Oh, yes. I didn't tune in, and I didn't know they were streaming. Man, that would have been
play-by-play every Friday night. Got my co-host with me. He's driving right now, Donnie Moran. What a huge win and a statement win by Coach King, going on the road here in Soso, winning 21-14 versus the West Jones Mustangs. What a just absolute team performance. I mean,
yes.
Donnie was talking, if we play like this since the beginning in the season, like, there's no telling what our record would be. But the record that matters right now is the Hawks are 1-0 in the playoff.
Yes. Well, we know the offense.
Did you watch the game?
There. No, I didn't know West Jones was streaming, so I wish I would have, because I was getting updates. It was 7-7 and 14-7, and I was like, "Oh man, they're right there with it." But no, unfortunately, I didn't know West Jones was streaming, and so that was. Plus, I was watching, you name it. I was watching the other games. I would have watched that game because it was definitely close. Obviously, there with them winning, and
Yeah, it was 7-7 at that 7-7 at the half. I mean,
yes.
What was your question?
I had there was 7-7. As far as again, we knew the offense was going. I talked to Coach King a couple weeks ago. We know it, is the air raid offense, but the defense was suspect, giving up a lot of points. And so going on the road, that's why I had them not winning tonight. But they really come around to hold West Jones. I mean, again, I haven't seen West Jones throughout the season just based on their record and their reputation. I mean, the defense really they forced some turnovers tonight.
We got an interception late. A huge interception. With West Jones driving the ball down the field. What was it? About 4 minutes left in the game, and one of our sophomore DB that just started his first game back in the Gaucher game now leads the team in interceptions. He's got 4 interceptions since starting. He's a sophomore since starting the Gaucher game at Gaucher. So I mean, just a short period of work, and leads the team in interceptions and probably one of the top DBs on the coast now. I mean, I don't know who's leading, but 4 interceptions on the season, and he's only a sophomore. So yeah, that was a key turnover at that time. And then we had a few not in the stat turnovers, but turnovers on downs where we forced some 3rd and longs and forced them to punt. The key thing for the Hawks this week, what really stood out, you mentioned the defense. It seemed like all season we always gave up, the big play, and we saw it early with West Jones's first touchdown. We had them stopped, and then they do a little. I mean, the ball didn't even go past the line of scrimmage. It was a throw to the running back, like a little swing route, 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage as he was swinging out, and he just made one cut and went up the field, and it was a 72-yard touchdown. And I'm like, oh no, here we go again. But the Hawks showed resilience and prevailed and got one on the board. I mean, we drove down the field our very first drive, and we go for a dagger after a bot or a bot snap. Like K3 wasn't ready, but he was on his toes, picked it up. Our receiver, Aspen Favre, got down the field. K3 connected with him. Huge play. I think we had it down around the 19-yard line, and then we tried to go for the jugular right after that and throw a back shoulder fade, but they got intercepted. And that's when West Jones took over at the 5. They got a penalty on us where we jumped off sides, so it made it 2nd and 5, and then they did that 70-something yard play after a couple runs or whatever. But other than that, we pretty much had them in check. I mean, we got in the red zone, Donnie, every time we pretty much had the ball, right?
Yeah. I mean, the scoreboard really didn't show, what it would have been. I mean, it should have been 21-7 at half. And, we had a drop in the end zone. That interception was in the red zone. I mean, there was 3 drives where we should have scored in that first half and didn't. And the defense held them to 7 points until the 4th quarter.
So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was great.
Man.
So, like, really, if you're looking at it, it's 21-14. But honestly, Hancock dominated that game the whole from the beginning to the end. And we didn't capitalize early like we should have. But you could see that, hey, once we grab this lead, it's in our hands. And that score could have very easily been 28-35-14.
Yeah, that like I said, I would like to talk to Coach King, but I know, like I said, they're driving. He may be able to chime in. I'm still
he's all cold and wet right now. He's probably trying to find a towel and get all dried up and like one of the fans said, well, you know what that means, huh, Coach? When you're cold and wet. He said, no, what? He said it means you got a W.
Yes, most definitely. Well, you guys drive safe back the rest of the way, and have a great game next week at Picayune. Again, coast versus coast. I have to see if I'm gonna make predictions. Of course, Picayune's gonna be favored at home, but
it's gonna be another tough game. But if this defense shows up like they've been showing up the last couple of weeks, minus the Pascagoula game, it could potentially be a different story. And hey, look, all we gotta do is go watch that PRC game and see what they did, and we just gotta duplicate it. You know what I mean? We gotta replicate it, duplicate it, do what we gotta do, and of course they're gonna be a tough opponent. But hey, appreciate you letting us on here to let everybody know what happened up in So.
Yes.
I'm gonna log off and watch the rest of your show, man. Thanks.
All right, appreciate it, Aaron. Thank you. I wish I was watching it because it was a great win by Hancock on the road. Let me see if I can get someone else on here. As far as I did message a couple winning coaches, and I don't want to message a whole bunch of winning coaches. but because I don't want all of them sitting in the so-called green room in the back room. I don't want them sitting in the back there. The game, I did have Petal winning. I was waiting for it to make it official, but 14-3, Petal does beat D'Iberville there. About 6 minutes left to go in the game. They scored. It was 7-3, obviously, and then they scored with about 6 minutes or so to go there. The only game that I'm lacking, which I know it's a final as far as done deal, and that is Hattiesburg. Is just how much did they beat PRC by? They were leading 27-0 there, and again, that's why I wait till I get all the scores before I come on. But hey, it's playoff time, and everybody is great, feeling good. Yes, teams did lose. Coast teams did lose, unfortunately. There is again the final scores. If you haven't heard already, which I'm going to effort Coach Pennock from Gulfport, 45-7, Gulfport won. Brandon did get by Osha Springs 13-10. Petal, I just said, beat D'Iberville 14-3. Oak Grove 52-20 over Biloxi. And 6A Picayune, now 5 straight wins in the first round. They won 55-7 over at George County. PRC, again, I don't have that final. They were losing 27-0 at halftime. Pascagoula dominating. I said they outscored their opponents 173-26. So we're going to make that 214-33. Ever since losing to Picayune, they have been on fire. They will go to Hattiesburg. They will go to Hattiesburg next week. And I hear somebody in the green room. Let me see. Are you there, Wayne? Or you have yourself muted? I have to wait and see if Wayne is going to come on or not. Again, Hancock at West Jones winning. There you are, 21-14. And as I'm going to your score, when I was going over the scores, which I'll skip your score, Pass Christian wins 49-22. They'll host the undefeated Columbia team, and Poplarville on the roll, defending 4A champs, 43-34 over Forest, and Stone 35-7. Of course, you were live streaming there from Perk. The last year they'll play at Perk because they'll have their new stadium. But I saw the game for the most part. But tell us how Stone went. Some stats that you have, and on to the next round is Stone Tomcats.
Yep, Tomcats had a big night offensively, Matt. The Bobcats could not solve the Tomcat running game. Three-headed monster with Jaden Collins, of course, our primary tailback, Aiden Green, and also Amarian Fairley. Green, a sophomore, Fairley, a freshman, so bright future for the Tomcats running the football. But I believe 399 yards rushing tonight, 451 total for the Tomcats. Just a tremendous game. Defensively, held the Bobcats to minimal yardage. Did let them score late in the ball game with all the freshmen in, the guys with all the clean jerseys, but good performance tonight by the Tomcats, both offensively and defensively.
Yes, they like you said, it was a three-headed monster. I mean, that running game and the quarterback that you guys have, has just done a great job. He was hurt earlier in the year, and it showed.
Broke his hand on a helmet there at Hancock in game 1 and didn't tell anybody, finished the ball game, and coaches noticed him favoring his hand at practice on Monday, and that's when they figured it out. So he missed a couple weeks. But
man, he didn't tell anybody. Yeah, that of course will certainly show in that. And then of course that was his first game back, was in the George County game, which it was a non-region game. But they just have been playing. It's a real deal. I know the coach that calls the game, which is that what he's coming with, that cat scratch fever? Is that what it is? Well, I like that.
They've been a lot of a few suggestions here and there what to name the Tomcat defense, but the cat scratch defense seems to be at the top. So
Yeah,
Guys got some. They get some good performance. Colton Ladner and some of the rest of them guys, up front, they do a heck of a job.
They do, and now, and I did message Coach Aycock and to see if I can get him on, but he has yet to respond. Even though I told him we'll be on here for a little bit, so there still may be time for him to come on. Haven't had him on the show yet this year, and a great win at home. Now they will host Laurel, who Laurel has 5 straight wins, and Stone has not beaten Laurel except one time, and that was last year in a non-playoff game. So again, being a non-coast team, I'm not sure how Laurel, just based on their record. I would still think you're playing at home. Stone would be slightly favored, but of course Laurel, you don't have to go between the bricks, and they have to come down here to Perk. So I like your chances, with Stone there, and Coach Aycock, of course, his third season here. He won the playoffs last year, lost in the second round, so hopefully he can get past the second round.
Yeah, and it was Brookhaven last year in round 2, if you remember, on a pretty chilly night up there. And if the Tomcats are fortunate to advance beyond next week, we will have to go back to Brookhaven. So.
Oh, see, I didn't look that far, but yeah,
Well,
would be.
that's there again. Don't want to get the. As somebody told me tonight, count the chickens before the eggs hatch. Don't want to get the cart ahead of the horse or whatever, but that's assuming that Brookhaven, would advance next week as well, and the Tomcats too. But Laurel is going to be the focus now, and I know they struggled last year. The Tomcats went up there and came away with a win, but a little bit different football team this year. Like you said, they won 5 in a row, so. Let's see how it goes next week. I like our chances as well, especially on the defensive side of the football. The Tomcats are tough against the run, no matter who they're playing. And offensively, of course, Aiden Green, Jaden Collins, Amarian Fairley, and some others back there. Should be a good matchup.
Yeah, with Collins, was he out some of the season or what?
No, he wasn't out. He just he seemed to be a little bit snake bit here and there. He had a couple of muff punts, fumble or two here and there, and never could break the right tackle. If you know what I mean, it just seems like he'd have an opening. Excuse me, he'd go to shoot through it, and somebody get a hand on a foot or something and trip him up. But tonight he had a couple of big plays. Big night for Jaden Collins tonight.
Very good. And like I say, they'll be right back there at home, right there at Perk. So in the new stadium, I heard you talking about it. They should be ready next year, just right up the road from Perk there at Stone. So that'll be a nice addition for Stone to be able to host their games and be at home.
Yeah,
but yeah. Yeah, not saying Perk is not a bad place to be, but still to have your own.
I was going to say you can't ask for a better place to play, football right there, on the campus at Perk, and all the improvements they've made over the past few years. We jokingly refer to it as the Taj Mahal. It's just fine facilities, but to call that a home game, the Tomcats. I graduated in 1982. And I know you always joke at me about being so old, but they have never played a true home football game. So
yeah, they never had, and it's a nice facility. I know they showed the video of it. It's not just a football field, obviously. It's a nice facility that Stone is really building up there.
Yeah,
so.
new school facility there. Football, of course, will be the first sport, but the long-term goal, Matt, and talking to some of those guys, is to have everything right there, elementary, middle school, and high school, along with football, tennis, baseball, and softball, soccer. All of that will be played right there eventually. It's going to take some time to get there, but hopefully next year the football stadium will be completed, and that's where we'll play next year.
Well, very good. But you're going to be the driver tomorrow, as, of course, you and myself will be traveling up to Northwest early in the morning to call the Gulf Coast game up at Northwest for the state championship, which will get them to bid into the Final Four national championship for the first time. since they formed in 2021, this four playoff system. So Northwest is 4th, Gulf Coast is 5th, and we have that 4.5 hour drive or so tomorrow morning. So I'll meet you up at Perk tomorrow. Of course, Wayne, Snow Flurry will call me and him been calling since 2015, and we'll be looking forward tomorrow. Everybody tune in to 103.1 FM at 1:30 for the first points of the game, and then on Bulldog Live, you'll be able to listen to us there. And certainly appreciate you joining tonight, Wayne, the first time, and hopefully have you back next week with the win for Stone.
That'd be nice. First time I've ever done this. So you sent me that link. I'm like, how do I do this? I'm driving down the road. So I made the quick trip onto the house here and came inside. And nice to be on with you, Matt. Appreciate you having me.
Yes. All right, Wayne. Certainly appreciate it. Get some sleep, and we'll check you in the morning.
All right, brother. Have a good rest.
All right. Yeah. That was Wayne Flurry. He's the voice of Stone Tomcats. They did win tonight, 35-7. And they will host Laurel next week. I know we have another coach that will be coming on here in a matter of a few minutes. We do have, I'm hoping, like I say, Hunter Dawkins. Hunter Dawkins looks to come on. But thoughts on the Pascus Jan there, Charles? Man, I was watching that live stream there too. I had so many live streams, so it was almost like, and they scored early and they scored often. Block punt, a long touchdown pass. I mean, Pascus Jan did what they need. I mean, it was 42-14 at halftime against Morton, and it was 49-22 was the final there as the Pirates do win. And Coach Stockstill, we'll have to see about getting him on. He's been on here the last few weeks. They've been winning. Well, they haven't been losing. They've been winning what they've won now, which is the longest. They won 11 games. Their 11th game tonight. First time ever winning 11 games. Their 9th straight game they have won this season. And they will play at Columbia because they're in their 3rd round, and they're both 1 seeds. Pascus Jan and Columbia are both 1 seeds. And I'm going to Columbia. They are 11-0. They had a 49. I'm sorry. They're 12-0. They haven't updated. They beat Newton. I don't know what the score is. They beat Moss Point in round 1, 49-0. They are a well-oiled machine in Columbia. Can Pascus Jan win? Certainly Pascus Jan can win. They are playing the best ball, I would say, ever. They're playing the best. They've won 9 straight games. They've won 10 straight before, and they lost to Stone back in 1975, the last game. But this is the best that Pascus Jan has been playing in school history, given the 11 wins. Coach Stockstill, he has won 2 straight championships at Scott Central, and now he had them win their first second round playoff game. That is the Pirates, and now they have won there tonight, the second round tonight. I'm trying to do 2 things at once, and again, we'll be having a coach join us here shortly as Columbia, again, they will go to Columbia. All right, I was looking at the stats. Columbia leads the series 9-6, and they played last year. They lost to Columbia last year 21-20, so it's kind of payback time for the Pirates. So we're going to bring on Coach Pennock with the Gulfport Admirals. How does it feel, Coach Pennock? A playoff win, your 3rd season there, in a dominating performance, 45-7 over Northwest Rankin.
Yeah, it felt good to kind of put an exclamation point on that stuff. And, everybody talks about that, the playoff thing and whatnot. And, shoot, man, our guys played their tails off and dominated the football game from the very jump and finished it off in style, man.
Yes, you guys are now 3, 6, 7, 8 game winning streak, and I mean I had Crosby scored. I was writing it down. The first touchdown, second touchdown, the third touchdown, and then you had a pick 6. It was 28-7 at halftime, and I didn't really get caught up on that was 28 points, so you scored 17 more points. How'd you do it in the second half? So
we had another pick 6. Javice Hales had 2 pick 6s. Ended up jumping 2 routes. He did Javias Hales. He's a receiver. He's like our one of our leading receivers too. But this time of year, playoff time, you put your best out there. And Northwest Rankin has a surefire 6'4", 200-pound, Division I receiver and number 2 over there. And his task was to get in his face all night long, and did a great job. Pretty much made him a non-factor in the game. And then he jumped 2 of their throws over there and took him to the house. And so I was rolling, man. And so we were able to get a field goal, drove down there, got inside the 5. We got a little cute offensively, dropped a touchdown pass, and so we had to settle for a field goal. And then we were able to get the pick 6, and then to cap it off and get the clock running at the beginning of the 4th quarter, we threw a touchdown pass to Mylan Stubbs to get that clock rolling, and didn't look back after that.
Man, I mean that like I say, it was like I said, Gulfport hadn't won. I know I was watching some of the coaches show that you had there, and you refer back to 2019 when they last won the region, and then the last time they won a playoff game. And here it is again. You guys won the region this year, and you won your playoff game. And I know it's just one step. I mean, you're certainly not done. Now you'll have a rematch of what you played earlier this year, first part of the year. That
last team to beat us. Yeah, last team to beat us. 100%. We've been rolling kind of ever since that Petal game, and you kind of rewind a little bit back to that point in time, and us and Petal were kind of reeling. We were kind of coming off some less than stellar performances from the previous week, and it was a 25-24 game. Anybody that watched the game kind of knows what the story was. I think we dropped like 10 passes and two like wide open touchdowns that ultimately was a major factor in the outcome of the game, and had a lead, had a touchdown, a 7-point lead going into the final minutes of the game, and allowed the long touchdown drive, and they went for 2, got it, and then we drove down and we missed the field goal that we all thought we made. We thought we made it.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, it was just, that was a shocker telling that aspect of it, but it probably ended up being one of the best things that's ever happened to us as a football team, and got ourselves to kind of, really look within on some things, and you kind of have to have those hard conversations and those things like that. And then I think it made us a better football team. And so now, when we told our kids in the locker room after the game that's who we were playing, our guys are ready for this one. Our guys are ready for this one. Yeah.
Yes, like I say, 25-24 in the series. 12 games have been played. Petal's won 10. 3 of them have been playoff games. You guys did beat them in 2018. Of course, you weren't there, and then 2016. But yes, a great win tonight, and even looking, I say, slightly ahead. Of course, Oak Grove and Brandon beat Nocia Springs tonight, 13-10. Oak Grove took care of Biloxi. So Oak Grove, if not mistaken, they're the number 1 seed. So if it, you guys beat Petal, or hopefully should be, and Brandon Oak Grove, you would actually, if Brandon wins, you will host Brandon. If Oak Grove wins, then you should go to Oak Grove. But that's
1-0, Matt. 1-0. 1-0.
Yeah, that's what you do.
1-0, man. That's it. 1-0.
So everybody came out clean as far as no key injuries or.
Yeah, no, we're healthy, man. We're as healthy as we can be at this point in the season. We don't have any major injuries right now. We're able to get out of there pretty clean. Just was really proud of just how physical we were, man. I mean, we were really physical tonight, and I was really excited about that, and to play on, because that's a high caliber team. I mean, when you go through the playoff weeks and all that, and you call everybody, right? All the relationships you have, you call the guys in Region 3, you call around the state, trying to get just a little bit of tidbits about the team you're going to play that you're not necessarily familiar with. And everybody talked about how Northwest Rankin was, man, golly, man, y'all got a tough draw, and that's kind of the hottest team in our region right now. They're playing really good on offense and that kind of stuff. And they have weapons, man. They were able to extend some drives tonight with the quarterback's legs, and he's able to find guys. They got some weapons, and we just made them one-dimensional and on offense. And then obviously Cooper Crosby. I mean, shoot, at this time of year, you go with your best, and he did. He had a great job, and Parker Nettles played phenomenal football, making decisions in our RPO game and our drop back pass game. Hit a huge play early on the second play of the game. Got like a 50-yard pass to get us down to kind of kick that thing off, man. And so it was just a great night to be an Admiral.
It definitely, and you guys didn't live stream it, correct? I mean, I was trying to look for it, and I don't believe it was live stream. Normally, I do watch it.
Shoot, I'll be honest with you. I tell you,
I know.
I don't know. We may have put it behind a paywall for all I know. I tell you that I am so laser focused on nothing. If it don't happen between them lines, I don't care about it.
Yeah,
Although we did accept one big news too is we accepted our bid, and we have a school board meeting, an emergency school board meeting for our bid was finally accepted on our stadium. So that's all going to get kicked off. Start moving some dirt here pretty in about a week or two.
Man, that is exciting. And like I say, I'm hoping that you guys, last year at Milner Stadium, and I definitely probably will make the trip. I'm putting the cart before the horse, but
1-0, Matt. 1-0, man.
Hopefully to host a South State game. But yes, you do have you'll be bearing, I guess, Sunday for for this Petal team who beat Iberville tonight. 14-3, very low scoring game, but Iberville's defense. I have to tell you.
Man, they did it. I talked to Coach Bulls already tonight, and they did a great job of hemming up Wally. I know he kind of went out late in the game and all that, but they had done a pretty good job of hemming him up, and so that's easier said than done. And I mean, that's a team we've already played that is incredibly physical up front, and I mean they have some major dudes on the defensive line, and so you have to kind of combat that. And then obviously two huge running backs that are great job, do a great job, and their quarterbacks has gotten a little better each and every week. And so it's going to be a heck of a test, man. But it's one you love getting to prepare for it this time of year, because to have a chance to win the game and then get a chance to practice on Thanksgiving as a coach that's kind of what you want, right? And so we'll have all hands on deck here next week.
Most definitely. Are you guys going to have their coaches show again, or is that was it last past?
Oh yeah, no, we're rolling, baby. We're rolling all the way until the end, man.
Yes. Yeah. Well, most definitely. And I'm glad you had players on there too. Who was at the Swiss Army knife? They said they called him. I don't know his name. I know.
Cordarius Payton. He does everything. He had a rush tonight. I think he had a catch. He had a tackle. He had a huge return in the punt return game too. So we use him all over the place. So we put a lot on his plate, but he does a great job with it.
Well, I will let you go. Did you see Dawn? She's a Pass Christian fan, but yes, thinking about it, you're the last.
Yeah, I recognize Dawn from my Pass Christian days.
Oh,
she's a big fan. She's a huge fan. She loves the Pirates.
She does. She posts her son always. It had a cutout of him and everything, and they just, like I say, won their 11th game, the most games they've won in Pirate history. Of course, you were there.
That's such a good place. A great job there. Their AD Ricky Smith and their superintendent Carla Evers. They have turned that place into just an awesome football deal. And it's a great school and an awesome place to live and all that stuff. But what Jeff has done there, I've known Jeff a long time. Him and I used to work together at Clinton as assistants, and having him down here and with the job that he's doing, putting up points and doing all that stuff it's no shock. It's no shock to me. I mean, they do a tremendous job over there.
Yes, 49-22, and now they'll go to Columbia, and if they win there, they'll host the South State Championship. But yeah, they got to get past the unbeaten Columbia team, who's pretty tough. But Pass Christian, the best they playing all year, and like I said, I know you were there a few years ago, got them to their first playoff win. And so now Gulfport back in the playoffs and in the winner circle. We'll host Petal next Friday night. So hopefully we'll get you on next Friday night, one game at a time, to go 1-0 next week, Coach.
1-0, Matt. That's all it is.
Yeah. Certainly appreciate you joining us, Coach Pinnock.
All right. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. Yes, sir. Hey. Yeah, it was Coach Pinnock there. Of course, like I say, they will now host Petal, who they played back week 2 it was. Week what week was it for Gulfport? I'm looking at pedals. It was, they lost to Picayune that first week. That is Gulfport. Then they beat Laurel 17-14. Then at home, Pedal 25-24. They lost. Like I said, I thought the field goal was good. The referee said it wasn't, which, I mean, they were right there, so it wasn't, but the angle. And then they haven't lost. They haven't lost since Pedal. So, like I say, it was at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row, beating Pascagoula, Ocean Springs, St. Martin, West Harrison, Biloxi, D'Iberville, and Harrison Central, and now Northwest Rankin. And yes, unfortunately, the 7A with Biloxi losing at Oak Grove, Ocean Springs losing to Brandon, and D'Iberville losing at Pedal will bring it to now, since 2021, 6 wins and 19 losses for 7A. Yes, it is very disappointing. Give it to the teams that did win. You know, Brandon, Oak Grove beating Biloxi. I was hoping D'Iberville could get that win on the road, and they just couldn't. They did lose tonight, 14-13. I'm trying to effort a couple more coaches. They either out there celebrating or I don't know what. But again, there's a couple that I've sent out on. If you have any questions, I certainly will answer them. I already said Gulfport will host Pedal, and our Brandon will go to Oak Grove in the 7A. We have Picayune will host Hancock. Hancock wins at West Jones. What a great win for Hancock. So now Hancock will travel to Picayune in a rematch there, as Picayune did defeat Hancock. Picayune defeated Hancock back on October 17th, 59-28 at home. Pascagoula, Coach Sims defeats Terry tonight, and they will go to Hattiesburg 41-7. The Panthers, they have just been dominating since that loss to Picayune, which really had a chance at the end to kick a long field goal. In fact, the kicker tonight got the first points of the game for Pascagoula, and it was a 45-yard field goal. I know I wrote his name down. I thought I wrote his name down. In fact, I know I wrote his name down. Miles Spray, 45-yard field goal. So, I mean, he has a leg. I believe he's left-footed, if not mistaken. But Pascagoula will travel to Hattiesburg. Stone will host Laurel. Pass Christian at Columbia. One thing I didn't look is, did somebody put in the comments, Poplarville did win, but let me look and see where they're playing at. Pastor some more. Where's Poplarville? Macomb. They probably should be at Macomb, but they're playing Macomb. Poplarville, Macomb. But they did defeat Forest 43-34. Is that at Macomb? I don't know if somebody. Oh, in Macomb. Okay, Don. I certainly appreciate that. I did reach out to Coach Stockstill to see if he can join us. I know he's been joining us, and I don't know what has happened to Hunter Dawkins. I'm hoping he's all right. He normally is able to join us. Well, yeah, shoulders. That's what I'm looking to see, because yes, it does say. That's why I was trying to see where Macomb played at. They did defeat Greene County, and then they defeated Leake Central, who is the number 1 seed. So, but Macomb played on the road tonight, if not mistaken. Let me see if I can get a clarification of that. To see where they're exactly playing. They're still in the dance, obviously, to get that win. Let me see here. 3A, where's your 4A at? 4A, Poplarville at Macomb. So there's your 4A is Poplarville at Macomb and Pass Christian at Columbia. 5A, Laurel at Stone, and then Wayne County at Brookhaven. And as Wayne just said a little while ago, Stone wins. They will play at Brookhaven, who they lost to in the playoffs a couple years ago. 6A, Pascagoula at Hattiesburg, Hancock at Picayune. There, that is, of course, the South teams. I won't necessarily bore you with the North teams. And then again, Brandon at Oak Grove. Unfortunately, Ocean Springs did lose tonight. They trailed 3-0. Then they tied the game up. Then they trailed 6-3. Then they were leading 10-3, if I'm not mistaken. They ended up losing. Ended up losing 13-10. That is Ocean Springs to Brandon. It was 6-3 at halftime, Brandon. So then it was 10-6 Ocean Springs, and then Brandon took over the lead 13-10, and then there were about just over 3 minutes left to go in the game. Ocean Springs put it on the ground, and Brandon ran out the clock. So of course, Coach Bramlett, again in the post-game interview that we were showing live on here, that this is his first class. It's his third year coaching there, and he's done one heck of a job there. And should be very proud. Again, they lose 2 games. That's all they've lost is 2 games. Lost to Gulfport, and then Brandon. Unfortunately, now that's 7 in a row that they've lost to Brandon. They lost to Brandon in the South State last year. And give it to Brandon. They did what they needed to do. There was some calls in the game as far as there was a player that was tossed out, and you hate to see that. Hate to definitely see that, but I mean, I know it hurts tonight, and not happy that they lost, but you win and you lose. They had a great season. They had a great run region wise, and they're be coming back, and they got a good core of players to come back, and they got a great coach. We've had Coach Brandon on the show lots of times, and they just fell short tonight. That is Ocean Springs. So Gulfport is the only team remaining in 7A, and again they will host Petal. So again, the brackets, as like I say, I was said earlier what they were, and we'll post them. I just got to have time to post them. As again, I was efforting some more guests to come on, and I don't want to invite so many guests to where they're sitting in the back and not coming on right when they join. So we still got a little bit of time. It's 10:30. We normally come on at 10:30. So again, Matt Stats, I am, and I have this going over YouTube and on X. Let me see if I can get some like I said, we've had so far Miles from Park 10 Lanes, the sponsor. They were streaming there at Park 10 Lanes in Diamond Head. The Hancock win, a great win for Hancock at West Jones. They will go to Picayune. Did have Wayne Flurry on from Stone as they get their win tonight, and also Aaron Underwood, the play-by-play guy there, and his radio partner, as they are making their way back from West Jones. I mean, that was just a great game there. I would message Coach King, besides him being wet and happy and excited as he should be, first-year coach there at Hancock, coming from Greene County last year, where they did win the region, and they did go out in round 1 last year. That is Greene County. Coach King, air raid offense is taking off. And tonight, I mean, not necessarily, they did what they needed to do. Their defense actually stepped up. And I do have, let me see, I did get a message as far as stat wise. Let me see if I can get for Case and Kanan, K3 there, the senior. All 3 touchdowns, 2 pass, and 1 rush did K3, Case and Kanan. He's had several offers is not committed that I know of. But another great night. Again, he leads 6A in all kinds of stats and touchdowns, total yards. A great night. I didn't have the official. He just sent me the stats, and I don't have the 3 touchdowns there for K3 for Hancock. Again, they will go to Picayune. If you guys have any questions, all the scores are final 11 games tonight. And we had, again, out the 4 teams of 7A, we had 1 Gulfport make it through. As far as 6A, we had Picayune, who beat George County 55-7. And we have PRC did lose tonight 42-0 up at Hattiesburg. Coach Feaster had them on last week. That great win at Picayune. Still, Coach Feaster has that team going definitely in the right direction. They're back-to-back playoff appearances when they haven't done that since 2014, 2015, which if you guys know Wyatt Davis, Mr. 601 Elite, coach's quarterback whisperer, that was the last time that PRC made the playoffs was when he was quarterback in 2015. So Hancock, PRC does lose to Hattiesburg. And then the other team, Pascagoula, does win there. Over Terry 41-7. Coach Sims and company has that team rolling, and they will roll to Hattiesburg. And then, as mentioned, Hancock does win 21-14 at West Jones. So out of those teams there, you have Picayune and Pascagoula and Hancock. So that is 4 teams that have advanced so far from the coast. And then Stone make that 5 teams as they defeat Summerall 35-7. And they will host Laurel at Perk. That's where they play their home games at here for this year. Next year, they'll have their own stadium up there at their school. And then Pass Christian, like I say, they won 49-22 over Morton, and they will go to Columbia. And then Poplarville won. So Gulfport from 7A, Picayune from 6A, Hancock Pascagoula from 6A, Stone from 5A, and from 4A, Pass Christian and Poplarville. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams left in the playoffs. Let me see. I might invite some of you fans to come on. If you want to come on. And I'll be posting definitely the playoffs. Who's at what location, as I've already went over them several times. But those who might have missed it. And then the state championships, which it's on pinned to the top of the Facebook page at Gulf Coast High School Football. Thursday, it's always the first weekend of December. South State is always the day after Thanksgiving. You always want to be practicing the week of Thanksgiving. I mean, South State is at Friday after Thanksgiving. But Thursday, December 4th, we don't have a team in 1A, but 1A would play at 4. 5A, Stone is the only team in 5A. They would play at 7:30 on Thursday. This is at Mississippi State up at Davis Wade Stadium. Friday, 4A will be at 4 p.m. Of course, Poplarville played there last year and won the state championship, and that also includes Pass Christian. So Pass Christian, I mean, what Well, if they both, I mean, what a game that would what a game that would be if Poplarville would be at Pass Christian if both of them could win. I know. I have texted them. I text them. That's all I can do, Randy. And said, hey, if you can make it on, we'll be on. I put till 11:30. He said normally go to 12, but I did text. I did text Coach Aycock to see if he can come on, and appreciate Coach Pennock that did make it on. So yes, Dawn, I've certainly tried to shine the light on all the players now that we have 25 coast teams. It's a lot of, and you do the great job on the Pirates and on your son there. As we need parents, message me. I have no problem messaging me highlights, anything, stats. I certainly will share it. I try to do what I could do on social media. Most of the huddle highlights are on X at Coast Football. That's where most coaches and, if you want to say scouts, whoever wants to. Let me change my hat. As I got my Gulf Coast hat on. As tomorrow morning, we'll be heading up to Northwest as Gulf Coast will play in the state championship. But again, most of the information that I put out is on X at Coast Football. And then, as I was saying, 6A is Friday night. So 4A is at 4 o'clock Friday night, December 5th. The state championship is what I'm talking about up at MSU, Mississippi State. And 6A, which would be Picayune, Hancock, Pascagoula, those are the 3 6A teams alive here on the South. On the coast, will play at 7:30 Friday night. And then 3 games to wrap it up on Saturday, December 6th. We don't have a team in 3A, which, St. Patrick and St. Stanislaus, only 2 teams on the coast from 3A. Of course, they're not in it. 2A, we don't have a team at all in 2A. And then 7A, prime time, the last game of the weekend, 7 p.m., Saturday, December 6th. Coach Pennock and Gulfport Admirals look to be playing that game there. And that would be Saturday, December 6th. At 7 p.m., which I certainly will be there. If the state coast team makes it, I certainly will be there. Even when I was at USM, we did have coast teams make us. Even if they happen to have not a coast team, I still would go up there, especially at USM, to watch teams that you don't see. You hear about, you read about, man, this team's good. And that's when you go up there and watch the 3 games or the 2 games, back to back. Of course, that's what I like to do. Most fans may not do that, to go look at it. But on the north side, you have Tupelo, who's a great team. They're ranked, I believe, number 1 in the state by Max Preps. Germantown, Oxford, and Horn Lake are on the top side. Oxford, of course, is quarterbacked by Lane Kippen's son. They are Horn Lake there. They will host Horn Lake. And then the south side, south bracket, Brandon travels to Oak Grove, and then Petal at Gulfport. They will face each other. The winner of that game, Brandon and Oak Grove. If it is Oak Grove and Gulfport, they will host. If Oak Grove wins, they're hosting. It don't matter who wins out of Gulfport or Petal. If Brandon wins, Gulfport wins, Gulfport will host South State. Just because they're the number 1 seed. The number 1 seed, you have a number 1 seed in the top half of the south bracket, and the number 1 seed, which Gulfport is, in the south part. Region 4, and you have a Region 3 top seed. They rotate. Easy way to know. Oh, okay. I appreciate it, Randy. And he may not. Well, I asked him earlier in the year, and he was. In fact, when he won at Hancock, I said, let me get, because he hasn't won an opening game. That is Coach Aycock from Stone. He hadn't won a season opening game. Now he's only been there for a couple of years, but he won at Hancock. And I messaged him, and it's a little bit harder for coaches on the road, but they can still do it, not unless they're driving. So appreciate that, Randy, on there. But let me see here. Where will Poplarville play? Yeah. Yes, that's what Poplarville will be at Macomb. And then next week, Poplarville is not going to be playing at home. They're not going to have a home playoff game. So no matter what. Pass-Christian plays at Columbia. Pass-Christian beats Columbia. Those are the 2 number 1 seeds. If I'm looking at it right. Well, we know Pass-Christian is number 1 seed, and Columbia is a number 1 seed. They're undefeated. So the number 1 seed will host Macomb, and of course Poplarville is not a number 1 seed. Macomb should not be a number 1 seed. I think Leake Central was a number 1 seed, at least what I'm looking at the brackets here. And I would show you the brackets. I can bring it up and show it to you if let me see. But I don't know if you'll be able to see it. That's the only thing. Let me see. I don't know if y'all if you can see that. But yeah, South State will be at the win. Yeah, so Poplarville, to answer your question, Poplarville will not host a game this year because, again, Columbia and Pass, whoever wins out of that, you can see here, if you can barely see, this is Macomb, Poplarville. This is Columbia, Pass-Christian. Both of them are number 1 seeds. These are not number 1 seeds. If they were the number 1 seed, that would be different. The number 1 seed from the top half will host, just like Columbia and Poplarville, Columbia and Pass-Christian. It is 2025, so the odd number year, the 3 seed, Region 3 host. Next year, Region 4 will host all the way through. If you're a number 1 seed, you will host all the way through to South State. So, and we do have a confirmation on a coach that will come on. It just seems later than it, because I came on early to watch the end of that Ocean Springs game, so I've been on. But so yes, Poplarville, to answer again, won't be. No, Poplarville is not going to. This is what I'm seeing here from. You can see right here from Brandon Shields on my X account. That's what he's saying. Poplarville at Macomb, Pass-Christian at Columbia. So, and then they're the higher seed. So that is, and once I get done off of here, that's what I'll post on X and on Facebook. So we will bring on, let me switch out here. Let me see. Oh, there's Coach. Let me get you. Where is it? Why is my boy? Oh boy, I'm making us both small here, Coach. That's what I get for. Here we go. That's what I get for trying. So, Coach Stockstill, Pass-Christian, a great win tonight. How you? First of all, congratulations. I mean, first time there, 11 wins and a second round playoff win for your Pirates. How you feeling, Coach?
Well, survive and advance. You know, that's kind of where we're at. We know that it's just going to get deep from here. So, you know, we played good enough to get to this point. So we're going to have to turn it up a notch and you know, see what we can do next week.
As far as the game, I was watching, watching several games live streaming, but I appreciate, I know Coach Shoulders was in here commenting. He does part of the live stream. But watching the game, first possession, you guys scored a touchdown. Is that correct? I mean, came out and set the tone right there.
We did. I think that was kind of, we talked about all week. We needed to strike early and kind of set the tone and carry some momentum. And again, fortunately, it worked out for us. So we scored, got a turnover, and scored again, and that kind of set the tone for the first half. And they were good. They didn't go away. We still had to play. We had a couple of mistakes had to work through in the first half there. So, but a win's a win.
Yes, yeah, I was gonna say they turned the ball over right after that, and y'all put up some more points. And then I know I wrote down you guys had that long pass from that receiver on the outside, Lewis. I wrote down Larkin Lewis. That's the one that was injured that's come back this recently, right? A 55-yard touchdown pass.
Right. He wasn't injured, but he's been pretty consistent for us all year, and we kind of had a matchup we liked right there, so called his number, and he punched it in for us. So we're sitting pretty good right now, but like I said, it gets a little heavy from here on out.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I want to enjoy this win here tonight with you. Who calls the play offensive coordinator? Do you call the plays, or who's your offensive coordinator? Do y'all combine, or who calls the plays?
Yeah, kind of combine. Garrett Stansberry and myself put the game plan together, and Garrett's the guy in the box, and so he can see a lot of things I don't, and so we kind of work together. We take a certain play script into a game every week, and just call plays off that. And if he sees something I don't, I mean, there's games he'll call more plays than me. There's games I'll call more than him, but we kind of 50-50 at best we can.
Okay, I'll just run. And then you guys had we can't overlook the pick six. That was kind of, I think, a ricochet. I had to rewind it back to watch it. I think when they threw it, went off of one player, or I don't know how that happened, but a pick six, that you guys had there, and then like I said, a block punt. So I mean, you guys are just at the top of your game right now.
I think we're definitely playing good the right time of year. I mean, the goal is to win games in November. And again, fortunately, the ball's bounced our way now. We have stayed healthy. We have caught some breaks as far as that's concerned. We've had some bumps and some bruises and a couple pulls and strains, but we haven't lost anybody long term. And everybody's staying healthy. And everybody says the term "get better each week." I don't know if we've gotten better each week, but I think we haven't got worse each week. So we're definitely not taking any steps backwards. And I think that's been beneficial to us the past several weeks.
Yeah, again, 11 wins, the most ever in school. It was 10. And, of course, you guys now on a 9-game winning streak. You're now 7-0 at home. And so now next week it is, at Columbia, the team that is perfect on the season. And you guys played them, in 2023. And that's when, you're looking for your first third-round playoff win. That is the Pirates. Do you go? I mean, that was it's 42-7. You guys lost at home against Columbia. You wouldn't go look at that tape being it 2 years later, or would you go back and look and see? I know it's probably obviously different players, but would you actually go back and look at the 2023 tape and see anything?
No.
With it? Okay,
no,
I'm just curious.
It's the same head coach. But he's got different coordinators now, so their scheme may be a little different. We won't necessarily go look at tape, but our seniors were sophomores that year, so I'm going to remind them all week. Last time we were in this situation, I don't know if we really approached that game to trying to win versus happy to be there. So if we're happy to be there, then it's going to be the same result. So we can either prepare ourselves that way, or we can prepare ourselves to try to go over there and win and kind of just see what happens from there,
Yeah, like I say, they're 12-0 now. That is, Wildcats, Columbia, where they shut out Moss Point. I don't know what the score was that they had tonight, but I mean, they're like you guys. I mean, they're putting up, I see 49, but the last 3 games, I don't know what they had tonight, but 49 against Poplarville, South Pike. That was a regular season, 49 South Pike. And then last 2 weeks ago, 49-0. Against Moss Point. But hey, you guys have certainly, like I say, playing your best ball I would easily say in school history. I mean, you're like I just mentioned, a pick six, a block punt, the long touchdown pass. They did have that long touchdown pass on. I guess it was a flag that was called that brought it back, and it goes back to the end of the first half. What happened there? I mean, I know the ball was down there with a couple seconds left, and I can hear it in my ear that you were trying to call time to get more time on the clock. I mean, you were trying to at least kick a field goal, or what yard line were you at?
Right. We completed a pass right before half, and our Dwight jumped out of bounds, and there was about 3 seconds left on the clock, and they didn't stop the clock, and it ran out. And when I asked, I guess the officiating mechanic, being they don't have replay and things like that you see on television, that the referee is supposed to spot the ball and then turn and look and check the time. And he said by the time he turned and checked, it had already run to 0. So I guess that's a high school officiating mechanic. I don't know, but I think we had an opportunity definitely to run one more play. I don't know what happened there, but that was kind of a situation you don't see every day in high school football. So that's what the explanation they gave me.
Yes. So, but definitely, again, a great win, 49-22. Now you're looking, for the Pirates to win their first third round game there. And again, it's at Columbia, but hey, the way you guys are playing, it's, and your confidence that I'm sure that you instill in the team, because I mean, like I said, they took off running tonight, and they have been all these games, again, 9-game winning streak. So I mean, when will you prepare again on Sunday? Is that when you prepare to start focusing in and
right? Yeah, we'll meet on Sunday with our team, and we'll watch the film from tonight's game, and then we'll preview, or we'll look ahead to next week's game. But they know who they're playing, or they should. I mean, Columbia's the number 1 team in the bracket, top to bottom. Like you said, they're undefeated for a reason. They play some good teams. They play some good football, and we've been in this situation before. So we're gonna have to just decide on what our mindset's going to be. Are we going to be happy to be there? Or are we going to play to win? Or are we going to give it our best shot? And I'm confident these senior class, these guys are going to remember, what happened a couple of years ago. So hopefully they'll get focused and have a good week of practice.
Yeah, you've been at home, 5 of the last 6 games. As your last regular season game, you were at Bay, and of course took care of business there, 48-0. So, again, you guys have won on the road at Greene County and at St. Stanislaus. So, I mean, it's and at Purvis. So, I mean, it's not like your team doesn't travel well. It does travel well. I'm sure your fans will certainly travel well there. So we certainly will look forward to the live stream, and hopefully have you on next week to, keep on going, keep this Pirate train going, because it's a great story. It's and it's not done yet. And you're not just winning, you're really dominating, and the players are hitting on all cylinders. And like you said, the ball's going your way, and I look forward to continue that. So I certainly appreciate you joining us tonight. And of course, you have the fans in the chat wishing you well, and still a great season. It's not over with yet, Coach.
Got it. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. Yes, sir. Coach Stockstill there at Pass Christian. Again, 11 wins, most in school history. I mean, it was already earlier where they're the coast team that scores the most points and giving up the less points there out of all the coast teams. So certainly a great win tonight. As I believe, I don't know if we're going to have any other guests to come on, and do not know. Oh, I was fixing to look up where Hunter was and see if Hunter was all right. I mean, I understand you celebrating the Gulfport win. So how you doing, Hunter?
I'm doing well, my friend. Yeah, I just got off the scoreboard there a little bit later than normal in Jackson, but I'm headed up to Hattiesburg because, USM has a big Sun Belt West game tomorrow. If they win this game, they'll at least get a clinch of it, of the Western Division of the Sun Belt. But they, of course, won't win it outright. But they'll at least get a chance to play against whoever on the Eastern Division. But with a win, they'll at least get a tie for right now. But they want to keep winning to keep advancing. And as well, you have a pretty big game tomorrow too, from what I understand.
Yes, we'll be leaving earliest, about 7:30ish. It's about 4.5 hours, 4:45 hour drive one way to Northwest, where Gulf Coast, Senatobia. Yes, we'll be going to Senatobia. 2:00 kickoff time. Not happy that Gulf Coast. I mean, I'm watching all these high school teams stream games. And unfortunately, Gulf Coast doesn't stream the game. We're on the radio. We're on the radio before Ole Miss comes on at 6, and then we're on Bulldog Live. And everything starts at 1:30. But kind of slightly disappointed that we can't live stream a game. When everybody else does. So
well, Matt, I'll tell you though, a lot of that has to do with the journalism classes, at least from a lot of these high school kids, especially on the block schedule. The English department gives a lot of these journalism classes for electives where, kids start creating these live streams. Long Beach, Pass Christian, Gulfport, all of them do it. Gulfport has a huge live stream group. And, we're on the radio, but those live stream group, they take up 2 rooms in the Milner Stadium. And so it's just part of education. And I guess, Dr. Graham, now I know her pretty well. When she gets her head behind something, she'll do it. But,
it's just, I watched the replay last week of Northwest at Colin. Northwest live stream their game. East Mississippi live streams their away games. In golf, it doesn't take much to live stream an away game. It doesn't, you don't need instant replay and stuff. So, anyways, that's near there. Tomorrow, 2:00 on 103.1 FM, and then on Bulldog Live. The winner will go into the national playoff. It's not a lock, but it is a lock. Northwest is 4th ranked to take the top 4 teams, and Gulf Coast is playing, if not for 28 seconds, I believe, in the Colin game, they would be undefeated. So I believe they will win tomorrow, not just because I call for them on the radio, but yes, we'll be leaving out early at 7:30
Last week, Northwest beat Colin.
They did. I watched the replay, and Colin, for some reason, they were at the 6-yard line with 15 seconds left, and they were down by they missed the extra point. They were down 28-27. They were up 27-21, and Northwest scored and got their extra point, so it was 28-27. So they were at the 6-yard line with 15, 20 seconds left, and they threw it. In fact, talking about live stream, the camera didn't pan over where he threw it in the upper left of the end zone. You didn't see it. It was intercepted. So they could have attempted a field goal, a game-winning field goal, but the guy missed the extra point earlier. I don't know what the reasoning was. They didn't, and Gulf Coast would have went to Colin. Instead, Northwest wins. And so that's where they ended the season last year, Gulf Coast, in that round 1 game where our quarterback, the same quarterback, Brandon Barnes, got concussed and didn't play. So he's the number 1 passer in the country. Touchdowns. He set a Gulf Coast touchdown record, 30 touchdowns and passing yards. So it'll be great to it'll be great.
Speaking of that, he's from Brandon, correct?
Yes, and Brandon.
I didn't see the final score. Did they end up beating Ocean Springs?
They did. It was 6-3 Brandon at halftime, and then Ocean Springs did score to make it 10-6, and then Brandon scored to make it 13-7 in the 4th quarter, if not mistaken. And Ocean Springs had the ball, and with about 3 minutes left, they were driving. I don't know exactly what yard line. I think they were on the plus side of Brandon's 50, and they put the ball on the ground. They fumbled it, and Brandon got a couple first downs, and that was it. I mean, they had a little bit of, not say controversy. I mean, Brandon got a player ejected. They tried to go over to the Ocean Springs band after the game, the players, Brandon players, like just respectively, you won, and so just go ahead and walk off. And they have their number. They, like I say, beaten them 7 times now in a row, but 13-10 Brandon does win, they'll go to Oak Grove, who beat Biloxi tonight, and D'Iberville did fall short at Petal 14 to 3. That's why Petal now is going to Gulfport next Friday. So that's the final four: Oak Grove and Brandon, and Gulfport and Petal. So that is there.
Well, and that game, as Harold Rose and I were saying on the G96.7 radio, that we thought that D'Iberville and Petal and Brandon would be a lot more competitive. I mean, and they were competitive games. It just the scores didn't work out in their favor. So.
Yes. I had it D'Iberville win. That was a game that I first had Petal winning. It was on the road. I had them winning by 3 or 4, and then looking more at the stats and this and that, I did flip and had D'Iberville winning by 4 points. So I knew it was gonna be close, and it was 7-3 with like over 6 minutes, I believe, left to go in the game, and Petal scored to make it 14-3. Other than that, it was 7-3, and they just fell short there. And yes, Randy was talking about MG Stone. Yes, Connor Tice is their backup, so we'll have a backup. But Barnes looks to take care of business against Northwest, and also Dawn. As far as the point wise, yes, you're 2 points away from 500 points for Pass Christian. Pass Christian did it tonight, 49-22. Hunter, they took off, 42-14 at halftime. They had a pick six. They had a block punt. They had, a 55-yard touchdown pass. They scored the opening drive, and then they turned around and got a turnover. So,
and Matt, most importantly, Matt, it's the first time they've ever won 11 games in program history.
Yes, 11 games. And so now they'll try to win their first third-round playoff game.
Yep. Second time, both under Jeff Stockstill. Second time they've been to the state quarterfinals, and they're also playing Columbia again.
Yes.
Now,
I talked to him.
From what I understand, Columbia, they came back. They were behind by Newton County most of the game. It came back and won 27-22. That's what I've heard.
Yes. Yes, that's what Dawn posted. I didn't know exactly how, but that might be a wake-up call for Columbia. Like, hey, we just can't cakewalk. They've been putting in some, and we're gonna have Coach join us here, Hunter, as he's been requested a whole bunch tonight. That is Coach Aycock from Stone County. How you doing, Coach Aycock? Congratulations on the win there for Stone. So how you feeling after a great win? Obviously, feeling good.
I'm feeling good. That was just a fun night of football. I thought we got off to a good start. So it's probably the most complete game we played all year, offensively, defensively. Played well on special teams. So had a good night.
Yes, and your running backs. I know I had Wayne on earlier. He was going over some of the stats, and I was watching the live stream. With Aiden Green, had, I think, two of your running backs. Collins had 2 touchdowns. Aiden Green had 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's just an interception in the red zone when they're fixing to go in and score. You had them 20-0 at halftime, and you just, 35-7 was the final over Summerall. I mean, like you said, a complete game, and your defense has really, been I'd say the back, at least watching the games. Your offense does score, but your defense has really stepped it up, especially over last year. And you were the defensive coordinator, for those who don't know, at Poplarville. How long were you at Poplarville as defensive coordinator?
I was there for 3 seasons. I was on staff when we played for a state championship, lost it 15-14 on the last play. That one still haunts me, but 3 years at Poplarville.
Yes. So your defensive mind. So like I said, that's a great. And Noel, is that his name? Noel. He's a defense. He had a couple big plays. Is he a senior? Is he not?
He is a senior. He's 6'3", 250, really good looking kid. And whenever he goes, he's really tough. He's played really good the last few weeks. He's somebody that's a leader on that side of the ball for us. I think we're playing good on defense. But you mentioned the running backs earlier. Collins is a senior, and he's such a special kid. He's all in. He's definitely a captain for us. And then the other 2 backs that are playing really well right now are both sophomores. So we feel like we're in a really good spot with 3 running backs that can really go.
Man, that is it. Next week, you're right back up there. I say at home. Of course, they've been playing at Perk all this time. So your new stadium now finally comes in,
Yes, sir.
next year. But you will host Laurel, who, they haven't. The Stone, has lost 6 straight, but they finally won the last game they played last October. They're at Laurel, 24-21. Do you know much as far as I'm sure I don't know if you just enjoying the win tonight, to look at Laurel. You having a chance to even look at Laurel, or have you kind of took a sneak peek at them?
I've seen them on film a little bit. They're a fast football team, so we'll have to match them speed wise, and they rely on big plays. So that's one of our goals every week is to limit big plays. So I think we did a good job of that tonight. We tried to make Summerall drive the football. And again, our D-line played really well for us tonight. But Laurel, they're tough. We played them last year for their homecoming, actually, and won by just a couple of points. And so anytime you play those guys, you got to gear up to play full 4 quarters.
Yes. Like I say, Laurel has done, I don't know what you want to call it, but they lost the first 6 games, and now they've won 5 in a row. So, a little bit of momentum there on Laurel's part of it. Hunter, do you have any questions for Coach Aycock? I mean, I know you may not be too familiar with it.
Well, and I do. I watched Gulfport play against Laurel earlier on this year in the Bricks, Coach, and like you said, they're very explosive from outside. But how do you guys feel like you're going to match up with them in the trenches? Because they're not exactly the biggest team in the trenches, but they've relied on some explosive plays. So do you think you guys match up with them at least far as from the trenches?
Well, we have we're pretty big up front on both sides, and I like to say we're athletic on both sides. Typically it's hard to be big and athletic on the offensive line, but I feel like we're both of those things right now. We have 2 senior offensive tackles that they don't want to stop playing. They're playing really hard right now. Braden Brown and Spencer Martin both have JUCO offers, both big kids, strong physical. So we lean on those 2 guys a lot. We have the 3 running backs that can really go. 2 of those are smaller guys, so we kind of joke about it. We think they get lost back there behind our big offensive line, and our tight end is a great blocker. So we feel like we match up with them up front. We feel like that's something that's to our advantage. And we hadn't broke the film down yet. We've only seen them play against some opponents like Summerall. We had that film. So we'll really have to dive into that in the morning. But we feel like that's one of our strengths right now on both sides of the ball.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
But yeah, Coach, I certainly appreciate you joining us. And again, you're at home next week
Yes, sir.
for your, the second round in the playoff games against Laurel. And like I say, you guys are just hitting on all cylinders. With is your quarterback? What grade is he? Is he a junior, senior?
He's a junior. He missed. He actually missed 2 games early in the season. We lost 2 games back to back, and he was out for both of those. Broke his hand, but he's really recovered. We've started letting him run the ball, and he's done a really good job of controlling our offense.
Yes. I talked to Wayne about that. I know he came back against George County, and that was a non-region game that you guys did lose, but that's a non-region game. But certainly you guys are on the roll, and the only team in 5A on the coast, and we certainly will be watching the live stream and the fans. I know they wanted you, Randy Warren. He's been saying, "Where's Coach Aycock?" And I know you were, celebrating and enjoying the win, and certainly enjoy the win. And good luck to you next week. Hope to have you on the live stream next week after you guys take care of business.
I would love to jump back on. Thank you for what y'all do.
Yes. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Have a good evening. All right. So yes, there you go, Randy. Coach Aycock there on the live stream. Appreciate you having us on, or having him on, and getting him to be able to come on here. So certainly appreciate that. But we will. Hunter, so what do you have to say about Gulfport game? You were there with I had Coach
All
Pennock
right.
on earlier, and it
Yeah.
was all Cooper Crosby the first half. I was getting your updates because they didn't if they live stream. You had to pay
Yeah.
for it, I guess. No, but
Well, the thing is, I'll tell you this, Matt. You know, Cooper had, of course, he had a good football game. You know, it was all over the place. You know, both not only inside out, he was a good, at least across the board from going on the outside, and they developed some good trick plays. You know, Parker Nettles, the quarterback, has really begun to manage the game right. Not necessarily like a Trent Dilfer style managing the game, but more like a providing the ball and resources all the way across the board to different receivers. They're using Crosby as a decoy on a number of plays, but he's the bell cow down the end zone. It's his ball is not. But the big key player of the game was Javius Hines, who had 2 pick 6 return touchdowns, and I think that really helped settle the score. I mean, that really once Hines made those 2 pick 6s, that was it, because they, you know, both drives, Northwest Rankin was driving down. The Cougars were literally in the red zone twice, and sure enough, right when they got down there, it was he found a slot to where he could pick it and just go to the house. And from that level, you know, there was a score right before the half, but it was more or less of them just jumping on. They got some penalties. So you know, one play they got 30 yards of penalties because of unsportsmanlike and a personal foul. But the next play, Hines has the pick 6, and that's just stalled their red zone, penetration and things as such. I really think that Gulfport, it's going to be hard to beat them in the playoffs because they are not only tough on the trenches, they've got, you know, the bell cow on the inside. They have good receivers, and their quarterback is managing the game well.
yeah. See, did they turn the ball over any Gulfport?
They did one time, but it was right at the halftime. Right, Gulfport got the ball back after Northwest Rankin scored, but they drove the ball down the field with 48 seconds left. On the last play before the half, Parker Nettles threw the ball in the end zone, and you know, it was kind of a battle between the receiver and the defensive back. The defensive back ended up picking it off, but it was in the back corner of the end zone. The last play of the half, that was it. So you could say he had a turnover, but he didn't really have a turnover, I guess.
Yes. And now they play, you know, the team that they lost to, you know, earlier in the season in Petal.
But it was a different Gulfport team. It was a team
correct
that wasn't really sure about themselves yet. They weren't really. Now, of course, Crosby was the factor as he has been all year. The defense was a little bit suspect then, and there was a little bit of confusion. But one of the key things too that you saw in this game from Gulfport, there was a lot of different formations that Northwest Rankin, and you do have to remember one thing, Matt. Northwest Rankin beat Petal in the last game of the year at Petal, and so it's a very, even though it's a little bit of a revenge game, it's almost like, well, the team that you just beat by 38 points lost to this team, you know, in the last game at home of the season. So that's something that, you know, the trench dogs and the guys really have to take control of.
Oh yes. I mean, you feel good, you know, like I say about Gulfport chances. You know, again, they did lose to Petal, but again, it was a different team, and they have turned it on, just like Pascagoula comes to mind. You know, when they lost to Picayune, and then all of a sudden they haven't lost since then, and they've been putting up points, and defense has been kicking Panther tail, and Gulfport's the same way. Pass Christian is the same way. They're on fire, So it is several teams. Stone is there. So again, like Coach Stockstill was just on, you're playing your best game time, at this time of year in November, and you want to play, that day after Thanksgiving, if not further. Now, like I say, I don't know what I would do if I would go anywhere if dreaming of a Gulfport hosting the South State and Pass Christian hosting the South State game, where I would go to, or I might just be here and watching both games because I could see more, like I did tonight, watching a lot of both games.
Well, if Pass Christian is good enough to win, this game this week coming up against Columbia, they will host. But if Gulfport, when they win against Petal, a lot of it depends on Oak Grove Brandon. If Brandon, wins, then Gulfport gets to host. If Oak Grove wins, Gulfport has to travel for the South State Championship in Hattiesburg.
Yes, that's what we are going over earlier. Like I said, we know if Pass Christian wins, they will host, and they could host Poplarville. So.
Yep, that's correct. And that's. But if Pass Christian wins, they have a definite South State title berth.
Yes, that'll be something there.
Francis McDonald Stadium. So.
And but Stone wouldn't host. Stone would go if they happen to win. Of course, we're all saying this week coming up, if they win, they were kind of again putting the cart before the horse there. But again, I'll just going over. Go ahead.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Matt. Does Stone play their games at Perk?
Yes, they do play there. They played them there for. They've never had a home field. Put that away. They've never had a home field at the school, and of course they're building one, and they'll be ready next year. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought the superintendent, who's a good friend of mine, used to be the principal at Pass Christian High, Boyd West. I thought he told me that they were building the stadium, but I didn't really know how far that had gone. So.
Yeah, they are building the stadium. In fact, they had a video they just posted about the construction of the whole school in general. They're building a lot of, in general, a big school, and with the baseball and football. So yes, it's going to be a nice facility. So, but yeah, that's we've had several guests on, and we got over 500 people watching on the live now. Again, the teams, unfortunately, that didn't make it through. Not all of them did. In the 7A, Gulfport is the lone one left, as Brandon did defeat Ocean Springs 13-10, and Ocean Springs Petal did defeat D'Iberville 14-3 up in Petal. Gulfport won 45-7 against Northwest Rankin there at home. 14-3 Petal over D'Iberville. Oak Grove beat Biloxi 52-20. Picayune rolled George County 55-7. PRC did get shut out by Hattiesburg 42-0. Still, Coach Feaster has that team in the right direction there. The Blue Devils, beating Picayune last week after 10 years and making the playoffs in back-to-back years. Not the way they wanted to end, of course, being shut out by Hattiesburg, but Coach Feaster certainly has that team in the right direction. Pascagoula on a roll. They do defeat Terry 41-7. They'll go to Hattiesburg. And Hancock, the upset of the night, wins at West Jones 21-14. Nice win there by Hancock.
That's a
yes, I was hoping to get Coach King on, but I know he was traveling down, and we did have several Hancock, Aaron Underwood that calls him on the radio, had Miles on there from Park 10 Lane that sponsors. He was watching, they had a live streaming at the bowling alley. So that's why I say, go to the bowling alley, watch the live stream. They should have the game on next week because Picayune will host them, and Picayune talking ball, y'all, with Clay there and Whitaker Ricky Whitaker there, on the broadcast. They do a great job. They will be live streaming next week. And then
Is that game in the Kill or is it in Picayune next
Picayune, in Picayune. It's in Picayune. So it's a rematch of, the game earlier not a few weeks ago, but it's been a few weeks since they played where, of course, Picayune did beat them. But, Hancock's playing with some confidence. Picayune, wasn't happy with that loss last week. They played October 17th, and they won 59-28. Picayune did at home over Hancock, 59-28, and they will host Hancock next Friday. And then Stone, as Coach Aycock was just on here, Laurel will travel to Stone there. And last time they played, Stone did win. It wasn't a playoff game, but Laurel had won 6 previous matchups. And then in the 4A, 2 teams remaining. The 2 that came in, Pass Christian defeated Morton 49-22. They'll be at Columbia, who was perfect on the season. And that's who knocked them out of the playoffs 2 years ago in the 3rd round at Pass Christian. Columbia defeated them then. But the Pirates playing their best ball in school history, you might as well say. 11 wins, never done that before. And Coach Stockstill, who we had on here, has them, believing, and they should be believing. They're playing some great ball right now, the Pirates, as they will go to Columbia. And it wouldn't be a shock if they beat Columbia. And then Poplarville did defeat Forest. They have to do it on the road this year if they're going to go back to state, 43-34, and they will now go to Macomb. And as we mentioned, if they win and Pass wins, they will play at Pass Christian. Either way, Poplarville, if they win, they will play at Pass or at Columbia.
Old region rivals, Poplarville and Pass Christian. Poplarville and Pass were in the same region for at least 5 or 6 years.
Yes, they were. They certainly were in there. So it was a great win. Again, we're hoping to get all the coast teams to get through on the victory, but unfortunately, we did not. And just the one team in 7A, like I say, it's not a good record since 2021. We thought this would be the year to possibly get 3 through. Even Biloxi, you got a puncher's chance. Anything, you're in the dance. But they didn't win at Oak Grove. Yaville was close until it wasn't. With 6 minutes left to go, Petal did score to make it there. So, unfortunately, it was a tough night there. But we will reload again on the way tomorrow up to Northwest. I may go live just to talk to the fans on the way up there. You have to see how it goes, but I'll come out with the stats, and I'm fixing to post the brackets on the Facebook page, and have, of course, more insight coming up, with the rankings. I did rank them by the respective, what they are ranked by Max Preps in the respective class, just to give fans an idea. Gulfport's ranked 4th in 7A, and Northwest Rankin was ranked 13th of all the 7A of all the states. So, that's how I was ranking. Ocean Springs was 3rd, and Brandon was 11th. So just to give them an idea, on the rankings. But that'll come out on Wednesday. And we don't have the Tuesday top 10. Of course, I posted last week. It will not. That was the final one. But I will post all the ones we did all season long, 11, the preseason all the way till the end. I'll post all the graphics so you can see how the teams go. So that'll come out Tuesday. I'll do game predictions again because, again, I'm trying to see. Let me see. I got Gulfport right. Got Brandon wrong. There's 11 games. Got Petal right. Oak Grove right. So that's 3. Picayune, that's 4. Hattiesburg, 5. Pascagoula, 6. I didn't get Hancock. Stone, 7. Pascagoula, 8. Poplarville, 9. So 9-2 on my picks tonight. Hunter missing Ocean Springs and Hancock. So because I didn't see an injury report, did you? I don't think teams put out injury, and I kid because you just don't know who's playing, who's not playing, and again, these teams are not from the coast. I try to do as much research as I can.
Well, I know there was a kid from Gulfport, but I believe he was a freshman toward the end of the game when the clock was running. That he was kind of not carted off the field, but he was carried off the field. But I believe was a freshman, so it wasn't anything bad. So, but that, from Gulfport's perspective, I think that was the only injury that I saw.
Yeah, and I had to watch the highlights, from the news because one of the coaches said something about maybe Wall. I don't know. I honestly don't want to say anything until I see it. I don't know if I heard something with the Iberville game that maybe Wally went out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I did hear that. Coach Roberts, the athletic director, and Harold Rose, who's the play-by-play, but who was also one of the West Harrison volleyball coaches. They have pretty close connection, and I believe that Coach Roberts told Harold that Wally went out in the second half. I don't know that, so I wouldn't quote myself on that, but that's what I thought I heard. So.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate there. I mean, he's a great player, and not saying that was the reason either why he won or lost. They did end up losing,
sure.
But
sure.
as I'm sharing now, WXXV highlights, and I'll have to go watch it myself. The highlights of the games from tonight, even though I was watching the majority of them, and then tomorrow I'll share WLOX Matt's highlights from WLOX. We'll share their highlights, but tonight WXXV, and then
I call him Matt D from Boston. That's how I call him.
He is from
Matt D
yes. So, but yeah, it'll be some great some matchups. Like I say, next week. So we have what do we say? We have the 1 team, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams left. That's what I said. 7 teams left from the coast. 1 in 7A, which is Gulfport, Picayune, Hancock, Pascagoula in 6A, Stone in 5A, Pass and Poplarville in 4A, and then all will go to or attempt to go to Mississippi State on that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I know I went over earlier on when teams would play.
We all want that Thanksgiving game too, that South State championship.
Oh, yes. That's when I go to. I mean, I do. My headquarters here. I was again watching Ocean Springs, Stone, Pass Christian, Pascagoula. I know I'm forgetting some Picayune. I was watching. As I was listening to them and watching them going from channel to channel. I just get more out of it being here at the headquarters. Well, when it comes to South State, I do go and get on the sideline and live stream from there. Again, I was at the Hornet Bowl 1 with Poplarville and Picayune, Poplarville and East Central, excuse me. That was a great game. And so there's been several South State championship games that I've been to and don't mind going to, especially, like I said, Gulfport, if they host South State, their last game at Milner Stadium. But then if Pass Christian's hosting South State for the first time, too, that'll be tough. It'll be a great decision for me to see what I'm going to do or sit here and watch both of them. So,
absolutely.
So, but I appreciate you joining, Hunter. I know I'm going to have to set my alarm on a Saturday morning. I hate to do that, but got to set it up, and we're going to be leaving out Wayne and myself, again, about 7:30 to head up to Northwest. Again, 103.1 FM at 1:30, the pregame, and also on Bulldog Live, the stream there. That and hopefully the Gulf Coast. And I have a good feeling just doing the statistics, watching the games, and I'm not saying it just because I call them on the radio, but I feel that they will get the win. Now it's going to be a close game. I have like a 31-27 feel for it. It's going to be a close game, but it might be a late touchdown on the defense to pull out to go beyond 10 points for the Bulldogs. But I feel they can definitely get the win. And you have safe travels tomorrow. You said you're going where?
Yeah, I'm heading up to Hattiesburg right now. I'm almost up here now. Yeah, USM. It's pretty easy. Just if you got the ESPN app, they'll be on the ESPN Plus, or what some calls the ESPN Ocho, and it's a big game. USM's got to win this game to have a chance to advance to the Sun Belt Championship game. Where that will be, we're not sure yet, but it's a big game, and every game's big for Charles Huff here trying to get them to the championship, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, that's it'll be a good one against the old rowdy Texas State. Half of their team gets suspended for fighting after last week. So, you know.
Yeah, and they and I actually looking for. I want USM to win, but if I were a betting man, which you know I kind of am, it's legal in Mississippi, that I'd lean toward Texas State. The point spread went from 7 points to like 5 points, which is kind of suspicious. Kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I lean toward Texas State.
Actually, Matt, it came down to 3 because Texas State. Now, even though their record does indicate it's 3-6, and they've lost 5 in a row, but they've lost 4 games by either in overtime or by a field goal. So it's you know, it could be close. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
It is, and like I say, I'm hoping USM wins, but for some reason it looked kind of suspicious after what you just said. Like I say about them losing, you know, players for the brawl. So we shall see how that one plays out. But certainly appreciate it. Hey, we get a little bit of time off here. Again, I hate to leave the fans. I know everybody's, you know, probably at home by now, and all the teams hopefully have made it home from West Jones, you know, at Hancock and D'Iberville down from Petal. There, and certainly great that the coaches joined us from Coach Pennock from Gulfport, Coach from Pass Christian, Coach Stockstill, Coach Aycock just come on. We had Miles from Park 10 Lanes, go see him. Aaron Underwood from Hancock, and there at the end, Coach Aycock came on from Stone. They won tonight. They'll be back at home next week. So it's playoff football. Hunter and the HD Experience, the podcast, I share it across social media. The fans can scroll on the timeline and listen to last week's. And you just have a wide variety of people on there. Yeah, I know you had Scott on there last week from the Sun Herald. You had Coach Stockstill on there. You had a guy from New Orleans, you know, covering that area. So it's a smorgasbord, I guess, of certain things on there. So
that's right. It's the HD Experience, which you can find it on Apple or on Spotify or Amazon and or iHeart, and it's all available. And we got a great following, and I'm looking forward to having you on this week, Matt. Just like always. So.
Yes. So certainly appreciate it, Hunter, and we're gonna go ahead and sign off. Have safe travels, and I'll be passing you by mid-morning while you're up there on the way to the Northwest. So certainly appreciate everybody joining. The Gazebo Gazette is who's Hunter's with. If the real Gazebo Gazette on Facebook, and then on X, of course, there. And he covers everything, not just football. He'll cover the basketball and baseball as the football season, unfortunately, will end here in December. But Hunter Dawkins, the man with all the sports and sports knowledge, and certainly appreciate you joining myself and the fans here tonight as we will sign off and look forward to next week as 7 teams advance from the coast and see who survives and who will go 1-0 next week. We will certainly be here and be waiting for everybody to come join us, and good luck to all the teams, and we'll see you under the lights Friday night. So, Hunter, we're out of here.
All right.
Yes, sir.